When it comes to the process of learning, right? Ideally, I think as humans, we all want to speed up the process. We all want learning to be quick. We all want learning to be fast. Nobody wants to learn the same thing forever. Let's learn quick so we can apply it in our real lives. That's where overthinking the right decision fails. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining us After Dark yet again for another episode. You know what I'm saying? Chucker has Zay in the building. Dread has Zay in the building. Look, we chilling, right? Today, I want to talk to you guys about something real important, right? I touched on this subject several times in other videos, right? But today, I'm touching on it again. Why? Because it's very important. I want to change the whole dynamic of my videos because I want y'all to understand how important action is rather than the knowledge that I give you. I have given you guys countless knowledge, and I pray to God that when you guys watch my videos, right, you take the knowledge that I give you and you apply it and you use it well. Unfortunately, some of you who watch my videos may get this knowledge and it may do nothing for you, but better inform you on just different topics, right? And that's not what this channel is about, because I was once victim of that same system of watching videos and gaining knowledge, but not really adding nothing to my life from it because I lacked action, right? So I want to make sure that you guys watch these videos and are able to apply them into your real life. So today I want to talk about why experience is the best teacher. All right. The reason why this video and the topic of experience being the best teacher correlates is because, like I said, I want you guys to be making sure you're taking action. Without experience, you're very much limiting your learning. So think about it like this, right? I love using approaching women as an example because I think approaching women really teaches a lot of principles. I don't think as a young man you should be priding yourself on how many women you talk to, but I do think that getting over the fear of rejection and getting over the fear of talking to women will help you in a lot of skills later on in life, right? Because it all comes down to a lot of things, right? When you go in to approach a woman, a lot of feelings that happen first is the feeling of fear, overthinking, coming up with fake scenarios. That's going to happen along your life in a lot of different situations, starting your first business, taking risks, everything, right? So if you can get over that in that sense, right? When you're growing as a young man, one of the scariest things to do is approach a woman that you like, to see a woman that you like and say, to build up the confidence to go over there and talk to her, right? Ask her name, get her phone number, ask her out on a date. All of this takes strong confidence, and those skills, when you can get over that, will help you later on in life. But let's use the example of approaching a woman. I can sit here and I can give you every single word to say when talking to a woman. I can give you every word to say. I can give you every possible response that she may give back to you when you say these things to her. I can give you the whole blueprint on talking to women, right? And when you go to walk up to your first woman, you're going to quickly realize that most of that information, probably 70-80% of that information is going to go out the window. Why? Because there's nerves involved. And now you're put on the spot. There's pressure involved. There wasn't pressure involved before when you were thinking about it. There wasn't pressure involved when you were watching the video. But now there's pressure involved because now you're doing it. So no matter what I told you, a lot of it's going to go out the window. You're going to sit there. You're going to walk up to her, right? And you're going to be like, oh, Zay told me to say this. But you don't even remember what I told you to say. So now you're confused. Now you're kind of scared because you don't know what to say. Knowledge can only prepare you so much. I can tell you what to expect from her, right? Boom. Maybe at first, when you first walk up to her, she seems like off put, right? You weren't ready for that. You were expecting, maybe she'd be more interactive, but you weren't expecting her to be a little distant at first. But so now you're kind of scared. You're like, am I making her uncomfortable? I don't know what to do. So you try to shorten the conversation. You try to get along. You try to move away. There's only so much knowledge can prepare you for it. But with experience, right? If you deal with this situation 3 times, you talk to 3 different women, that have this same scenario. You're gonna figure out why this happens and how to get away from it. How can you drift it toward a position where she can be more comfortable talking to you, right? You try different things. Maybe you point it out. Maybe you point it out. There's so many different things you could try, right? You never know what might come up in the moment. But you try different things, you figure out what usually makes women more comfortable when they feel nervous around you, right? That's experience. The more you do it, the more you figure out ways around it. And that goes with anything in life. If you're starting a business, right? Most people's first businesses fail. The first 5 businesses they start usually fail for many reasons, lack of consistency, lack of whatever. But it's the reason that 6th business works out is because of that experience. You know what works and what doesn't. You know what to avoid and what not to. You know what to invest in and what not to. You know this, you know that. Experience. I believe experience is the best teacher. I don't think there's a single video on this platform that can give you the kind of knowledge that experience comes with. Experience comes with I would say experience comes with wisdom. Knowledge is just words, information. Knowledge is information. Wisdom is a whole different level of understanding. When you will unlock the wisdom that comes with experience, you'll just see how different it is. It doesn't even apply the same. The knowledge doesn't apply the same, right? You could read a million books in the world. If I read 10 books about financing, right, but I don't apply it and I don't try to use what I learned, it's useless. That's why books are meant to be applied. Because when you read it, yes, you get knowledge. When you apply it, you gain wisdom through experience. So that's where a lot of people go wrong when it comes to reading as well, too, just to give y'all a little side note. But I did have some topics here I had written down. I forgot I'm just such a yapper. I had like a bunch of stuff written down to talk about. I haven't even looked at the book yet. So let's take a look what I got. All right. Information isn't transformation. Ooh, hold on. That's a bar, Zay. That's a bar. Information isn't transformation. Only action and experience create real change. All right. What does this mean to me? Information isn't transformation, meaning that you could get as much information as you want, right? Information doesn't change you as a person. And I gained this. I'm going to use me as an example because that's the best person to use, right? In this situation. When I was 15, 16, right? Starting my self-help journey, I was indulging in a lot of information. I was just watching videos, reading, boom, 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 right? Getting as much info as I can to learn how to communicate with others. Whatever, because I was always an introvert. I'm still an introvert, seriously. Only difference between me now versus before is I have social skills that can allow me to break out of it, right? That can allow me to be more comfortable in social situations. Prior to now, I was the most awkward being possible. I still think I'm a little awkward in some scenarios, but that's just comes down to my preference of just not wanting to talk to people a lot of times. But it's a growth process, right? So let's use 15, 16-year-old Zay as an example. The person who was doing a lot of reading, watching a lot of videos, gaining a lot of knowledge, right? Now, I had a lot of knowledge. I gave great advice, and in some scenarios, I was making practical or like logical decisions just based on the knowledge I had. But there was a lot of progress that I missed out on simply because I wasn't acting on the knowledge I had, simply because I wasn't putting in the work and putting in the time to improve upon those skills using the knowledge that I have, right? And I talked in the past about being intentional. You have to be intentional with what you do, which means if you want to improve in a certain area, let's use social skills as an example, then it would be smart for you to actually intentionally go out and talk to more people. Don't count on it casually coming by, because that's how you end up getting yourself stuck, by thinking that things just happen casually, right? You can definitely find yourself in casual conversation, but when you make it an intention of yours to actually go out of your way to make conversation, then you're going to find that you're going to make progress a lot faster, and it's going to stick a lot more, because when you're being intentional, things stick, right? If you are learning how to shoot a basketball, right? Back to the basketball references, right? Even at 20 and 25, I got to stop saying right. Somebody help me out in the comments down below. Give me a right counter at the end of this video. So if you're playing basketball and you're learning how to shoot, right? Where was I going with this? I kind of forgot. All right. if you're playing basketball and you're on the court learning how to shoot, if you're just shooting for 2 hours straight, right, with no real intention of actually making certain adjustments, you're gonna find that when you go back out the next time, you're not even gonna have no idea what you were doing wrong. You're just blindly shooting the ball and hoping that you get better results, right? And that's not really how you want to live your life. You don't want to live your life just hoping and wishing. You should be faithful in trusting the process, but you should also be intentional with what you do. Those go hand in hand. Hear me out. So, with that being said, if you shoot and every time you miss, you make it an intention of yours to figure out a potential reason why you missed. And then you intentionally adjust that on the next jump shot that you shoot. Make sense? So it's a lot more intentional. And when you're being intentional, you can make adjustments and you're going to learn a lot quicker and it's going to stick more. It's going to be in your brain. Now, when you come outside tomorrow, you're going to be like, all right, last time I was doing this, and this wrong. These were the 3 main reasons I was missing. I'm going to eliminate those 3, change them. Boom. I'm going to shoot it like that every time. And boom. Next thing you know, you're a shooter like me. Oh, next thing you know, you got a shot that's butter like this, like mine. A shot that's butter. Hold on, chat. Tell me rate my form real quick. Right? Because I'm low-key decent. So, boom. Elbow in. PSD. Hold on. This is not a sponsored video. Chill out. So, boom. I set like this, right? I dribble the ball, left hand. You can't even see the follow-through, but it's there. The point is, be intentional, and you will be able to grow a lot faster, and things will stick a lot more. So, I hope that example makes sense. So, information is not transformation. Don't be 15, 16-year-old Zay who sits back and allows information to override his ability to act. Instead, you should prioritize acting over information. You should definitely still be learning and make sure you put aside time for learning, right? But I think the ratio of learning to acting should really be like 70-30. You spend 30% of your time learning and you spend 70% of the time doing that thing, because really you're spending 100% of your time learning. Just by doing it 70% of the time, you're learning a lot. By learning, you're learning. By doing, you're learning. So you're learning 100% of the time, except now you're adding action into the factor, so you're growing at the same time. I'm giving y'all real deal secrets to life. I hope that makes sense. You're learning 100% of the time, but now you're adding action into the mix, which means you're growing at the same time. Because learning is useless without growth, right? Even if you're like a scientist, you could gain as much info as you can, but like every scientist applies that to their own theories. They use it for their own good. They never let knowledge go to waste. Don't be the guy who lets knowledge go to waste. All that time you spent learning, don't let it go to waste. You know what I mean? If you're gonna, all those hours you spent learning math, man, use that math, man. Get you some money so you could count it. Use that math, something. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. Let's see. Okay, I see where I was going with this. I was cooking when I wrote this. I was cooking. You learn more by doing the wrong thing than overthinking the right thing. Y'all gotta understand. I'm gonna say it one more time, and I want y'all to think about it before I even break it down, because this is deep. You learn more by doing the wrong thing than overthinking the right thing. Boom. When it comes to the process of learning, right? Ideally, I think as humans, we all want to speed up the process. We all want learning to be quick. We all want learning to be fast. Nobody wants to learn the same thing forever. Let's learn quick so we can apply it in our real lives. That's where overthinking the right decision fails. When you overthink the right decision, right? That means you're thinking of every possible scenario, trying to find the perfect outcome for that scenario, and you're trying to find the best decision to make or the best action to make based on those scenarios. You're trying to avoid all the failure. You're trying to avoid all the mistakes. You're trying to avoid this. You're trying to avoid that. You're trying to avoid these. Trying to avoid those. You're trying to avoid everything to get it as perfect as you can. No, you're trying to get it perfect, not as perfect as you can. So you did all this. You spent all this time conducting this master plan. I'm gonna give you two examples. The same scenarios I've been giving: approaching women and starting a business. Let's start with approaching women. When you're approaching a woman, if you try to come up with all these the perfect scenario, right? Let's imagine the perfect scenario. Before I even talk about what that might look like, let's start with saying why thinking of the perfect scenario will never work out. There's a lot of factors that you can't control when it comes to everything, really. But for these two examples, let's start with approaching a woman. Some of the factors you can't control. You can't control how she reacts. You can't control what she says. You can't control how she feels. You can't control what's going on in her life. You can't control where you're at. There's certain factors you can't control. If you see a woman at the park, you don't know what her day has been like. You don't know what she's going through in life. You can't control how she feels. That can completely affect what answer you get. You approach her, you don't know what she's going to say. So trying to come up with the perfect line is not going to work, because once you get past that first line and then she says something, oh, thank you, blase, now you don't know what to do. You're stuck. You're stuck because you can't possibly prepare for what she's going to say, right? But with experience, you can. We're going to get to that. So you don't know what she's going to say. You don't know how she's going to react. You might say something, you might have come up with some line that you thought was so flattering, the kind of line that makes a girl's heart drop, the kind of line that makes her fold under the pressure, the kind of line that makes her smile ear to ear, right? You thought you came up with all that. The whole time she thinks it was cringy. She thought your line was corny. She in her mind, she's thinking, how could a man ever come up to a woman and say that? She could have been offended. She could have been offended by your line. Now your line hurt her feelings. Now she's angry at you. You could have possibly prepared for that. And even if you did, you probably would have. If you could have came up with that scenario and thought that might happen, you probably would have never approached her in the first place. But like I said, it's the unknowing. The moment you can submit to the unknowing and tell yourself that you don't know, but you're willing to fuck around and find out, is the moment you can start growing in this world. When you develop the fuck around and find out mentality, that regardless of what happens, I'm going to find out because I want to. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do, so I'm going to do it. Whatever comes after that has nothing to do with me. I'm gonna see that when I get there. Right now, we're worried about right now. Right now, I want to start this business. Right now, I want this woman. Right now, I want this money. Right now, you know what I mean? What do I want right now? And I'm going to do what I have to do it, regardless of what comes after. So, that is why overthinking the right decision fails. Now, the first part, right? You learn more by doing the wrong thing. You go up to her. Nothing on your mind. You don't know what you're going to say. You don't know what you're going to do. You go up to her, right? And this is the most beautiful place to be in, because you allow your creativity to roam free. And the first few times you do it, you're gonna fail. You're gonna sound stupid. You're gonna be nervous. There's no getting around it. Everybody goes through it. Me, with all these muscles, me being this handsome, I go through it. Everybody goes through it. The first few times you do it, you're gonna be nervous. You might not know what to say. You might shake up a little bit. It is what it is. Love the process. Fall in love with the journey. Put me with the people who aren't afraid to fail. Don't put me around the people that are perfect, that don't do nothing wrong, because if you don't do nothing wrong, I know you're not living the life you want to live. Put me around the people that are failing. Putting me around the people that aren't afraid to fail, that aren't afraid to do wrong, that aren't afraid to be seen by others doing wrong, failing. Put me around them. Put me around the doers. Don't put me around the people that sit back and think a very possible, perfect scenario. I don't want to be with those. Put me around the doers, the people that just do it, figure it out, adjust. That's the kind of people I want to be around. You feel me? Anyway, so You go up to her, you don't know what you're gonna say, right? Boom, you say a line, it bombs. She's not feeling it. She looks completely uncomfortable, whatever. All right, boom. Now you know not to say that line. First of all, second of all, when you leave that conversation, you could figure out why you think that line made her uncomfortable. Not only that, while you're in the conversation, you can try to find a way to try to fix everything, right? Try to find a way to cover yourself up. Just you might say something like, I don't know, I just saw it on the internet. Really, I just wanted to talk to you and I couldn't find a perfect line, so I just used what I knew. Boom. Maybe that might bring her back to be comfortable. Maybe not. Maybe it might not work. You never know. Now, if you bring her back to being comfortable, boom, now you got experience. You know how to shake back, right? And you can use that in many scenarios. If it doesn't work, you just leave and you're like, all right, we're not using that line ever again. That made her real uncomfortable. Experience can teach you a lot more. By the time you came up with the perfect scenario of how to do things the right way, the person who's not afraid to fail, the doers in this world, already tried doing it 10 times and found a better, faster way. It took you a week to come up with what you thought was the perfect way to approach a woman. And then you finally approach her and you realize, you bombed! There's no coming back. It's over. You bombed. It didn't work. She didn't like you. There's no going back. You just wasted a whole week of your life trying to come up with a perfect scenario to perfect line to approach your crush. And it didn't work. She's not feeling you now. While you did that, this guy in that week already approached 30 women. He already approached 30 women, probably got rejected by 21. Who do you think learned more? Who do you think learned more about talking to women? Probably this guy. Let's go to the business side. Starting a business. Let's say I want to start a business. Let's say I want to be a barber. Let's just use barber as an example. I didn't think about this, so I'm gonna just try to come up with this on the fly. Let's see, I want to be a barber. The guy who wants to perfectly decide the right move, he might spend months. Some people spend months, years planning. Let's just use months as an example. Maybe 2-3 months. He spends 2-3 months planning the best way to organize his barber business. So what he does, he researches all the best equipment to get started. He researches how to get your first client. He researches how much money you need to invest. He researches how to advertise. He researches how to grow a barber business, everything you could think of, right? Everything that he's not even ready for. He's just researching, doing mad research. So he spent 3 months researching. So now he's finally ready to start. Now when he's finally ready to start, he goes out, he gets the equipment. Now he gets the equipment. Now comes again his first client. They told him how to get his first client. He's too afraid to try to get his first client though. Chances are if he took 3 months to start his business, he's afraid to even go out there and get his first client. He's afraid to promote himself. It's not a lack of confidence. I think people get confidence confused with other things. You can be confident in yourself and still not have it to act on something. I could look in the mirror every day and think, damn, Zay, you handsome, bro. Any woman would be lucky to have you. You handsome, you smart, you this, you that. I'm very confident in myself. I see a woman I like on the street. Do I have it in me to approach her just because I'm confident? No, it's not about confidence. It's about facing fears. Confidence can help you face fears, but to rely on your confidence will never work. You got to rely on courage. Rely on courage. Rely on the part of you that's like, fuck it. Fuck it. We gonna find out. Rely on that part of you. Put the confidence to the side Confidence will come. Even if you don't have confidence in yourself. If you are a person watching this video right now, you're watching me, and you don't have confidence in yourself, start relying on the fuck around and find out part of you. Bro, start relying on the part of you that says, fuck it, I'ma do it. Rely on that part of you and see how much further you get in this life. Put confidence to the side. Confidence is great. You could walk around, you know what I'm saying? You could walk around like this, feeling like you the man. Oh yeah, I work out, boom, boom, boom. And there's somebody doing way better than you in life. There's someone who has everything you want. There's someone who has everything they want. There's someone living the life you want to live, traveling. You know what I'm saying? Got a girl that they're married to, happily married to, family, house, this, and that. They got everything you want. You got all this confidence. Clearly, confidence isn't the answer. Rely on the part of you, the courage. Rely on the courage. Rely on the part of you that says, fuck it, I'm going to find out. That's what I need you to do. I'm being real with you. I'm getting overly aggressive. Why? Because I really want you to figure this out. Rely on the courage part of you. The part of you that says, all right, I'm going to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm going to do it. That's discipline. I don't want to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't want to do it, but I know I need to do it, so I'm going to do it. Rely on that part of you. Throw the confidence to the side. Confidence only gets you so far. Confidence can get you a big head. Oh, yeah, I'm this, and that. I got chains. I smell good. I look good. Boom. Now what? What do you have? Show me something. Confidence doesn't mean nothing to me. Show me that you're living your life the way you want to. That's the most beautiful thing to me. The only person that can make me jealous in any way, shape, or form is the person that's living the life that they want to live. Not afraid of what somebody thinks about them. Not afraid of how somebody feels about what they're doing. The person that's living their life the way that they want to live the life the way that they feel is fulfilling. That's the person I look at too, and I think I'm jealous. If I am not living the life I want to be living, if I'm not living how I want to live, regardless of how other people feel about it, that's the only person I can ever be jealous of. I can never be jealous of somebody who's big-headed, that think I got everything. I got watches, chains, cars, women, boom, boom, boom. I got it all. You don't have nothing. You don't have nothing unless you are living the life that you want to live and you are happy, peaceful. You don't have nothing. And I mean that. But anyway, let's get back to it. So then you got the other guy, right? He might have did a little bit of research. Let's say it took him 3 days to get started in his barber business, right? He did his research. What do I need to get started? That's the only thing he searched up. Boom. Buys his set of clippers with the guards, right? Paid $70, started his business, right? So now he got everything he needs. What is he going to do now? He cuts his own hair. Day one, as soon as he gets the clippers, he cuts his own hair. Boom, he takes the pictures, he puts them up on the internet. He takes a video. Boom, he got videos, photos. Boom, he's DMing his friends. Yo, I'm starting barbering. He goes through his whole list of friends. Yo, I'm barbering. If you want a haircut, first one's free. First one's free. First one's free. He DMs 30 people. You think out of 30 people, he's not going to get one person to say that they want a haircut? Boom, he gets his first client within a week. Within a week, he has his first client. Boom, he cuts them up. He takes pictures. He puts videos. That client's friends. Yo, who you get your haircut by? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, this guy, he only charging 12 right now because you just starting. He only charging 12 right now. You feel me? I bet. You know, it's not a perfect haircut, but for $12, yeah, it'll get me right. All right, boom. He already got three clients in 3 weeks. By month 2 or 3, he's making income. Month 2 or 3, he's probably averaging 3-4 clients a week. Just off of starting, saying fuck it. He knows his barber skills ain't all that, but he's still gonna show it to his friends. You feel what I'm saying? That's what it takes to truly make it. Bet on yourself. And that has nothing to do with confidence, by the way. That has to do with courage. Confidence and courage are 2 different things. You can be confident but not have the courage. I've dealt with this in basketball, in life, everything you could think of. I'll be on the basketball court. I remember joining my first team. I was so confident, so excited to get started. They give me the ball. I'm confident. I know I can do this. I know what I got. But I didn't have the courage to shoot it. I didn't have the courage to let it fly. Why? Was I afraid what people were going to think if I missed? Was I afraid to airball the ball? Was I afraid of my coach sitting me out? Yes, I was afraid of all this. The courage side of me that says, fuck it, would have never been afraid of that. I just want to shoot it. If I want to shoot it, I'm going to shoot it, regardless of the results. That's how I want to live my life. If I want to shoot it, I'm going to shoot it. Whatever happens after that, I could care less. I might airball, I might miss completely. Ball might not even touch the rim. So what? I did what I wanted to do. I wanted to shoot, and I did it. Guarantee if I do it again, it won't do that. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Just based off adjustments and making progress. Do what you want to do. That is what matters. I'm telling you. Rely on the part of you that says, fuck it. I'm going to do what I want to do regardless of the results. If I shoot and I miss, who cares that I missed? I wanted to shoot. I did what I wanted to do. The job is done. I was successful in doing what I wanted to do. I can't fail. How can I fail? I did what I wanted to do and I was successful. Did I make it? No, I missed. I did what I wanted to do. That's where the success comes in. The success isn't that I made it. I wanted to shoot it. You feel what I'm saying? This is a basketball business, whatever. I wanted to start a business. I started a business. Did I get clientele running at me? No, but I did what I wanted to do. I'm successful in that regard. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to tell everybody, I wanted to show everybody my podcast so they could watch it. Did anybody respond? No. But I did what I wanted to do and I'm successful in that regard. That's all that matters. Now, I have more. Do I even want to go through all this? Because it's already a long video. Let's see. Experience creates emotional memory. We got to keep going because I'm giving gems. Experience creates emotional memory. Somebody can tell you anything. It only sticks on a knowledgeable level, on a level up here. But as you go along in your journey, the more you learn and I would say I'm pretty far because I work hard. And when you get to my spot, when you get to my sense of awareness, whatever, when you get up there, when you are far along in your journey, you will start to realize that your mind isn't as much of a companion as you thought it was. Your thoughts, your brain, this thing up here that you've been relying on your entire life, you'll come to realize that it is not for you. It is not doing what you want it to do. It is not working for you in a way that betters you as a person. A lot of time, this is what's fucking you up. This is what's setting you back a lot of times. I don't want to keep cussing, but this is a passionate topic for me. This, what you thought was your best friend, this is what you've been relying on all these years, you're going to come to find out that this thing is your enemy. This is what makes you do everything that you don't want to do. The things that you're trying to avoid in a bad way, like the things that are bad for you that you're trying not to indulge in, this is what's going to get you to indulge in those things. The things that you know is good for you, this is what's going to keep you away from those things. You're going to learn to realize that this is not on your side. A lot of times it's on the side of the body, doing what's good for this skin that's on you, but not what's good for your actual soul. I hate to sound like a spiritual weirdo, but I'm really saying the truth. This isn't as good for you as you think it is. So experience creates emotional memory. Why? Because when you experience things, when you go through things, think about anything you went through in life. When you experience heartbreak, why does it last? Why is it so deep in here? Why is it hard to forget about? Why is it hard to shake back from? But why would people go through heartbreak? Do they go through this arc that changes them entirely? Because it's deeper. It goes deeper. When you experience things and you feel things, they go a lot deeper. And it's trapped in there. Not up here, because it's only surface level. We forget all the time. Thoughts come in and out of here all day, every day. When you experience something, it cuts deep. When you have a fun experience with your friends, it stays here. You can't get rid of that. You'll never forget it. I'll never forget this moment. You ever heard somebody say that, or you ever said that yourself? I'll never forget this. Why? It was an experience. It was an experience. It made them feel something. When you experience something, when you experience failure, when you go through something, when you try something, it doesn't work, it cuts deeper. It cuts deeper. It leaves a lasting impression, and it's easier to figure out things, right? If someone just tells me a bunch of stuff, right, boom, in and out, in and out. I got thoughts coming in and out of here all day. It would have to be a thought. It would have to be a sentence or a words that would make me feel something to stay in a deeper level. If somebody looked at me and said, Zay, you don't even deserve to be alive right now. Those words might cut deep. I might not ever forget that. That somebody said that. You see what I'm saying? But when people just feed you, not when you're just getting fed knowledge, it typically goes in and out, in one ear, out the other, right? Just like the rest of your thoughts. So when you experience something and you do it, it cuts a lot deeper. This is real facts. This is real facts. Make sure you live your life that way. Experience. Look for experiences. Look for experience. Don't look for knowledge. Don't look for nothing that's fake. Experience is real. And experience is the key. Look for experience. Let's see what else I got. You'll forget what you read, but not what burned you. That's self-explanatory. You will forget what you read about, but you'll never forget what burned you. You'll never forget that oil popping up on you and to notice to stay back from it. You'll never forget that stove burning your fingers off. You'll know not to touch it again. You'll never forget that. You know what I mean? You'll never forget that. There are certain things you never forget. And it comes down to experience. There are certain things I read that I've never forgotten for sure. Doesn't apply to everything. Nothing in life applies to everything. But take what I'm saying and just use it. You'll see. Another main point I want to make of why experience is important. Experience allows failure. Zay, why would failure ever be good? Who wants to fail? Who wants to fail? Nobody wants to fail. But failure is important. Failure reveals gaps that success doesn't. Success always feels good. Failure doesn't feel good, but failure reveals gaps that teach you things that no other man can teach you. Failure shows gaps that are important to learn about. Losses, embarrassment, rejection. These things expose character. Failing humbles your ego and sharpens your mindset. Humbling your ego, I've said it before and it says it in the Bible, that humbling yourself is what is necessary before growth. You have to humble yourself before you can grow. You have to understand that you are not up here before you can grow to get up here. You see what I'm saying? You have to humble yourself to learn. When you go through loss, embarrassment, and rejection, it humbles yourself. It reminds you that you're human and you make mistakes. But you become numb to that feeling. People ask me, Zay, how do you do this and not feel embarrassed? How do you boom, boom, boom? You get desensitized to it. You become numb to the feeling of embarrassment when you be embarrassed enough times. When you do enough stuff that's embarrassing, have enough people stare at you, laugh at you, whatever, you start to become numb to that feeling. If you've been a class clown before, chances are you don't get embarrassed very often. You have people look at you and stare at you all day and laugh at you all day. Chances are you become numb to it. Nothing is embarrassing to you. Yes, people react different, but it's not embarrassing. We all go through it. You know what I mean? You lose. If you're someone who's never lost before and you lose, it's going to hurt the heart. Oh my gosh. You're going to feel like, oh, there's no recovery for this. If you lose often, and you will lose often if you're not afraid to do what you want to do, you will lose often. You lose enough times, you get desensitized to losing. It doesn't hurt anymore. You did what you wanted to do. You had some fun. You know what I mean? Rejection. When you get rejected for the first time, that might hurt. Oh my gosh. She don't want me. They told me no. Oh my gosh. You get rejected enough times, you hear no enough times, you get desensitized to it. You start becoming numb to it. It is what it is. You hear no, you get rejected, boom. You start getting numb to it. You realize it's normal. Normalize these things. So I have a challenge for y'all, it looks like, that I wrote down. Write down 3 hard moments from your life. Then write down what each one taught you. I can already think of number 1 right now. My number 1 biggest lesson in the past 2 years of my life. Changed me forever. Changed me forever. This one lesson changed it all for me. Flip the script. Let me know if y'all want a story time on that situation. I'll be down to talk about it. But anyway, that's pretty much gonna be the end of this video. I appreciate y'all joining me. Thank you for joining Zay After Dark for yet another episode. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace out. Oh, hold on, before you leave, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Zay.afterdark. Make sure you follow us on TikTok at Zay After Dark. Great content over there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video. It'll help us out a lot. Help us keep growing. So I appreciate y'all joining me. I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace out.